Hi Aljaya, hi, are you able to hear me? Are you able to see me? Welcome man, welcome, I hope you're still there. Thank you everyone for joining my stream. If you're not able to hear me or see my screen, please do let me know. Check, testing, check. Hey, thank you Aljaya, thank you. Aljaya, and I don't know if you can see it, I'm using a, yeah, the wind is a problem man. There's, unfortunately, I am not sure if they can do anything about it. I'm afraid I just have to kind of live with it. Yeah. I'm removing that. Yeah, thanks. I always forget to remove that. Starting, yes, there we go. Let me just close all this. Here, just close all this. Close all this. Yeah. Hello Navya. Hi. Welcome folks. Welcome to the classroom. So yeah. So I'll tell you, I don't know if you can notice it, but I have a different camera set up. It's a better camera. I think the picture quality is a little better. I made it a little bigger as well. I've changed the position of the camera. Yeah. What I did was, yeah, thanks, man. Thank you, and happy to have you here. What I did was I'm using my DSLR camera. You know, I used to be a photographer, so I have my DSLR. I hooked it up to my PC so that, you know, I'm using one of my special lenses, which I purchased for photography, and you know, it's giving me good clarity. So that's the new thing today, and yeah, so that is what is happening. And also I got the affiliate thing, man. So it's very cool. I just got the message, the notification. I think it's still there in the notification. Yeah, there you go. Path to affiliate completed. So that is also done. So yeah, thanks man, thanks. So I need to see what's gonna happen next. You know, where do we go from here? So that is the next where we go from here. So I need to see that. And no, actually I'll tell you, the camera I have, it has a software available from Canon. They are giving the drivers. You know, they recently released a driver, some kind of a special software, and I was able to install it, and I was able to make it work. It doesn't work all the time. Somehow with me, I was able to get it to work. So yes, utility. That's right. Okay, so I think everybody is here. So let's go ahead and begin. So hello, folks. Welcome. Welcome to my classroom. My name is Jay, and I'll tell you, sorry to hear that, man. Really sorry to hear that. So welcome everyone who is coming for the first time, and those of you, especially those of you who are coming back. Welcome back. Those who are new, welcome. Now what we do here is, this is the Bari basic training program. What I do is I do these weekly tutorials online on Twitch. That is where you're watching me. If you're watching a recording, then I'm not sure, you might be watching it on YouTube, but I do these live classes every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the timing is 4:30 p.m. IST. The remaining timings, you know, you can convert that into your time zone. But if you follow our Instagram channel, you'll get all the details. So what I do here is I'm trying to teach basics. Okay. So what is the basic that I'm trying to teach here? So let me just go here. This is our website, baribasic.com. All right. Now in our website, you have our Instagram account. I would request you to please go ahead and follow our channel. This is where we put our update. Like for example, timings. If you click here, you can see the timings. Sorry, on the browser it will not come, but if you install it on the app, you'll see the timings and the location where we do classes, updates, and everything on our Insta account. And I also live classes on Twitch. The link is here on our website. So if you're watching it on YouTube or you're watching a recording somewhere else, you can just click on this link. It will take you to our Twitch channel. And every class that I do, recordings are published every week. You know, every Thursday. By Thursday, Friday, we upload the recordings of the classes on our YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel, Jazz Gaming and Podcast channel. You can also go to the YouTube channel directly from our website. You have a link right here. That is another way to watch the tutorials if you are not able to attend the live classes for some reason. And we also have a Discord. If you're new to Discord, Discord is like a WhatsApp group or a group chat like Teams or Slack. If you use those things, it's like a group chat situation. So it's like that's where you can come and ask questions. So if you try to install the Discord app or create an account on Discord and just click on this link, and it'll take you to our Discord community where you can talk to me, ask questions, technical questions, doubts, share your code, and meet other students. So that is Discord right here. So we always use our online textbook. I'm writing an online textbook, open source textbook, and that is what I use in every class, and you can access it through this online textbook link here. So this is our textbook. That is where we do our tutorials. So the idea here is I want to teach the basics of web programming, and how do I define a basic web programmer? That is the question, because you need to know if this class is for you or not. So if you go to our website, the tutorials.baribasic.com, which you can also access from our main website, online textbook, we have a section called web tutorials. You go here, we have something called fully built demo. So let me open that demo here. Now this is what I call a very simple basic app. Now this app, it is responsive design, which means depending on your screen size, it will become bigger or smaller. Like if you're seeing on a mobile phone, it'll accordingly adjust the content. If you're seeing it on a big screen desktop computer, it'll become bigger to adjust. So that is responsive design. This web app has some basic navigation, like you can go from one page to another. It does that. And finally, it can consume an API server where it can send and receive JSON data. So that is the very important thing about any web app these days. If your web app cannot talk to an API server, then what use is it? It's not an app, it's just a website. And we are trying to build a website here. We are trying to build a web app. So ultimately the conclusion here is, if you can build what you see on the screen right now, then you are already a basic web app developer and you don't need to follow this class at all. But if everything I just told you about these API server, JSON, sending, receiving, link navigation and all that, if that doesn't make sense to you, then yes, that is where I come in. I'm trying to teach the basics that you see on the screen. So by the end of this training program, you should be able to build this web page. That is what I meant by basic web programming. So that's what I've been doing here. So let's begin. Let me open my PowerPoint. That is where I'm tracking my classes. So let me get my PowerPoint up and running here. So this is, I believe this is class number 12. So let me just open that here. So I'm right now in class number 12. So yes, this was yesterday's class, I remember. So this is the session number 11. Yesterday we discussed about Azure, FTP and all that. So let me take a copy of this and put it at the end of this slide here. Let me also take a copy of thank you and put it here for later usage. And I need a blank page. So yes, there we go. So I can take this blank page and I can put it here between my classes. So this is session number 12. So if you've been coming to every class, thank you so much for coming to our classes every day. I really appreciate it. Okay. And also, like I said, visit our website, follow our Instagram channel for faster updates, and follow our YouTube channel for all the recordings, because when I'm teaching, it's very difficult for you to practice, whereas if you watch a recording, you can pause, you can go back, you can go front and do all that. All right, so if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat. I'll try to answer, but as I said, the best place to get questions answered, if you can put your questions here. Hi Kriti, hi, good evening, very good evening Kriti, welcome to the class, happy to have you here. So you can put questions in the Twitch chat. I will look at it sometimes when I'm teaching and I'll reply, but if you have more questions, if you have a lot of questions, the best place is this one, Discord. Come to our Discord community. All right, so so this is session number 12. So here what I want to do here is, if I go to my textbook, now let me go to my textbook here. We have reached a very good milestone today. We have reached an important milestone today in our training program. Okay, this is the 12th day, and today is a very, very important milestone. Why? Let me just share that with you. So this is our table of contents in our tutorial textbook. It's an online textbook. Some of you might like to read, you still like to read and learn, which is good. That is my preferred way, by the way. So you go to my textbook and you have all these table of contents, and right now we just finished this. Okay, so if you look at this, so I spent a lot of time talking about introduction, and then I spent a lot of time talking about the fundamental concepts of web programming. Now in the beginning we talked about, let me just see all the things we talked about. So let me keep this table of contents here, and let me take my PowerPoint and keep it on the right side here. Okay, so we can find out. So this is like a recap session. Today it is kind of like a recap session. That's what today I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quick recap before we can go to the next topic. So recap session, today's recap session. So what all we have done till now. In the very beginning, I started off by talking about myself, what this program is. That is what you see here on the introduction, and I talked about what you're going to build. I gave you a small introduction, and then I talked about what you will build if you watch all these classes, and what you'll have at the end of this training program. What you'll build the simple web app that I keep showing in every class. Let me just show that simple web app again. It may be a little boring, but yes, let me just show that to you again. So this is our simple web app. So when this training is over, you will know how to build this simple web app. That is what the end game is. That is the end target. Okay, because you should always know your target. Okay, if you don't know your target, then you're just roaming aimlessly. Roaming aimlessly is fun, but if you have a target, then that is work. Yes, fun is important, but we also have to work, right? So that is the target. Our target is to build this simple web app at the end of the training program. So I discussed that. So let's go back to my textbook here. So what else did I discuss? I also discussed, I told a little bit about my developer story, where I came from, what I do and all that. And how did I learn? I spent a lot of time talking about it. And also I talked about, is this training program, is this textbook for you? I talked about it. And of course I also talked about these live classes are happening on Twitch, and recorded classes are available on YouTube. So that is what I talked about in the first one or two classes. And then I quickly moved on to some coding tools. Before I can discuss coding, I started talking about I gave intro and about myself. I did that, and then I started talking about developer tools. Now I think I use, if you any person, like for example, when you see a mechanic at a mechanic shop, yes, the mechanic has all kind of knowledge in his brain, but without the tools, that knowledge is useless. So that is why when I started my training, I spent a lot of time showing the developer tools before I started coding. Okay, that is, I spent I think 1 or 2 classes on that. So what are the developer tools mainly I talked about? I talked about Codepen. Now Codepen, of course, is this. Let me just open that for you. So let me just open a new window here. Okay, so there we go, and let me open Codepen. Yes, so Codepen is our online web programming coding tool. This is where I do all my coding. What you see on the screen is Codepen. That is what I use for coding online. Now I discussed in detail why I prefer Codepen, because it runs in a browser. Okay, so you may have an old computer, you may have a new computer, you may have a Mac computer, you may have a Windows computer, you may have a Linux computer, you may have a second-hand computer, or your computer is not working. There are a lot of problems, and before you can run web app code on your computer, you have to do some configuration, you have to do some setup. All right, now those setup things, you may know how to do it, you may not know how to do it. All right, so to make it simple, because this is for beginners, this is for basic programming, I want to make it simple for everybody to learn while watching my classes. So we use Codepen. So whenever you want to practice whatever you want to do, you can do almost 90% of everything, especially learning, on Codepen. Now I have a pro account. If I go to my here, it says here, let me just go to my profile here. Yeah, it says I have a pro account, so I am paying some money for some extra features, but a free account will do everything I am also doing. So you don't have to pay for it. It's a free service, so you can practice. That is why we use Codepen in our classes. So after that, talking about Codepen, then I moved on to the next developer tool, which is Visual Studio Code, and also Node.js, HTTP server package, and Firefox. So 3 more developer tools I talked about, and we have been using this, both CodePen and these things, in all our classes. Now the reason is, sometimes, well, not sometimes, when all this training is over and you have to build your web project, you have to use Visual Studio Code, you'll have to use Node.js with HTTP server package, and you'll have to use a browser like Firefox for development and testing. Okay, so these are the tools. Now you can use these tools from the first day, but my suggestion is, in the beginning, use CodePen, and then once you're familiar with all these terms and technology things, then you start using these things. But I will be using both of them in every class all the time, just so that I can give you that perspective to make you familiar with these tools. Now lastly, I also talked, just yesterday I talked about one more developer tool, which is FileZilla, and I also mentioned Azure Web Service. Okay, that's what I talked about yesterday. Now why simple? Now my idea has always been, if you can build something, if you can make something, you should be able to show it to other people. That is very important. I always compare software development to cooking. If you are able to cook, if you make something new, yes, you will taste it, but you will feel really happy when you give it to someone and then they enjoy it. It could be your spouse, it could be your siblings, it could be your parents, friends, roommates, whoever you like. When they taste it, when they enjoy it, is when you really feel happy. Now that is the magic of cooking. It gives you a sense of satisfaction. Similarly, you're learning web programming, you're learning coding, you're learning something new, and you're trying to learn it online, which is not easy. It's difficult. It's not like a classroom, and right now we don't have classrooms. So you're learning something, you're putting a lot of effort to learn something, and you should be able to show it to other people. You should be able to show it to whoever you want. Just send a link and they should be able to see the output without any jig. So that is why I spent some time talking about FileZilla and Azure Web Service. So you can create a web app server, and then you can deploy, you can upload the code that you have written to an online server, and you can share that website link to whoever you want, and they can see the output. It makes you happy, it makes them happy, and it's like you have proof. You have proof that you are doing something, and it will make anybody happy. So that is what my plan is with respect to showing about Firefox and Azure Web App Service. Now these are the developer tools I talked about. So let me go back to my textbook here. So I talked about developer tools, and then I talked about what is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. And I also went one step ahead and I showed small steps. I built small, let me just type this here. I built small CodePen projects. I think we have everything here. Let me just go to my CodePen here. If I go to my pens, you weave all pens. Yeah, there we go. See, every class I have created different CodePen. Teaching basic HTML tags, teaching basic HTML structure, teaching a basic CSS, teaching basic Bootstrap, and teaching basic JavaScript. In JavaScript, I think everybody, and those of you who came, you remember with the panda and the images and everything. So this is what I have done so far, giving you a complete picture of the very like an introduction to web programming, to web developer tools, and also a little bit of deployment tools. So right now, if you have watched all the classes, or maybe you will watch it after today, or maybe you're coming to every class, you will know a little bit about web programming. You know a little bit about web programming. Okay, that much is done. So that is why I said today it's an important session, because we have reached a good milestone. So we know the introduction concepts. So these basic concepts, they are going to be remaining true throughout this training. So whatever I told you about CodePen, it is good today, it's going to be good at the end when we build our final project. Whatever I told you about Visual Studio Code, it is valid now, and it will be valid 1 month later or 6 weeks later when I wrap up this training program. All right, so all the things I've said, that will be with you as long as you're doing web app development. So that is all we have done so far. So if you have been coming to every class, well, thank you so much for being. And if you have missed the classes, we have our YouTube channel, all the classes, recordings, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are live classes, and Thursday, we upload a recording Thursday night onto YouTube so people can watch, those who cannot join live. So that is what we have done so far. So I hope you'll be able to understand things from there. So today I'm going to go to the next phase. All right, so phase 1 is over. This is what I would like to call phase 1. In fact, instead of saying the basics, maybe I should call this phase 1 and I should call this phase 0. That will be much more cooler. I think so. I'm going to make a note of it. Okay, so let me just make a note of that here. So now, as of now, we have finished phase 0, and phase 1 is also finished because you've seen all the basic tools explained in these classes. And now we begin phase 2. I know nobody likes the word phases, but still, anyway, it's okay. No harm, no foul, right? Okay, all right, so let me take a slide here. Bring it down here. I'm not very good in PowerPoint. Okay, so what are we doing next? So let's look at our textbook here, and now we are in this section. Now yes, the title of this section, the next phase, is I've called this HTML deep dive, but I'm not actually going to deep dive that much into too many concepts. Okay, so I have to again remind you folks that at the end of the day, I just want to build this web app at the end of the training. That's all I want to teach you. So I'll only pick those concepts which I feel are useful for this app. And for me to know that, you need to know only these two things extra in HTML, because HTML is huge, and I don't want to discuss every concept of HTML because one, I don't use them that much, so I may not know way too much about it. So I can only talk about what I know. So these are the things I know. So in the next phase, we are going to talk about HTML tables. So that is what we are going to do. So let's open that chapter. So let's open that chapter here. Let me see what this has. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay. So I mean, here I'm just talking about these things. I've said that I don't want to do too much of explanation of everything. I only want to explain things which I am going to use. All right. So now let's discuss about tables. As always, the chapter is very short, and I like to keep it very simple, quick. And but even though it is simple, you need to know a few basic components. Okay. But before that, let's see the CodePen. In every chapter I have, if I'm showing some code, there will be a CodePen which has ready to use code. So please remember this when you start reading my textbook. Okay, so there we go. Let me just run this here. 1 second. Let me okay, 1 second. Now this was actually created a few days ago, before Very Basic was invented. So let's go ahead and copy that there, and then let's go ahead and where is that? Let me take my website here. Yes, okay, I'm just editing a small sentence in the code, so I'll just show you guys the output, just making some basic changes. Let's see, tutorials, yes, okay. Let's take this. I'll just let you guys know what I'm doing. Just give me one. Let me just update this code. So the thing about programming is, things are always changing all the time. So, no matter how updated your site is, there'll always be something which is out of date. I think that's about it. That's yes. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and see the output here. All right, perfect. So this is a table, and this is what we are going to learn today, how to make a short table. All right, let me just zoom in a little bit, make it a little bigger. Yes. Aha. All right, let me grab some water. I'm getting thirsty. Okay, I'm just checking my note. I also have some notes here which I refer when I'm teaching. All right, okay. Okay, good. So what you see in front of your screen is a table. Okay. Now, according to me, whenever you're building any sort of app, it could be a web app, it could be a mobile app, it could be any kind of app. All right. Ultimately, you're just trying to show data. You're just trying to show data. That's it. That's what everything is. Everything in the world is nothing but a list of things. And usually you show it in a nice table or some kind of a table layout. Now let's look at some examples. Like let me go here on our Instagram channel. Now again, this is nothing but a table, right? You have, what is a table? A table is, it has rows, right? It has, this is first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, and then it has columns. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3, column number 4, column number 5. That's it. That's what a table is. Rows and columns, and then you have cells. Cells is the this box. You can call it a box. In HTML we call it a cell. Table cell to be specific. Okay. So yeah. So that's what we do. The table is nothing but rows and columns. And in fact, anything you look at, like for example, on the left side here, you can see a chat box. I see here that Kriti and Navya have been acknowledging the class. So thank you, Kriti and Navya. And you see here, this is nothing but, again, a simple table, which is one column. There's only one column of chat here. And one column, one row, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8. It's just row and table. Row and table. So that is a row and table. Let's go to something else. Now let's go to Insta. So what is this? This is again nothing but a table. This table has 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and it has rows. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and right now my Insta has only this much update, so it has this many rows. It's a table. That's it. Everything, it's everything in every app, whatever app. Let's go to some other website. Let's go to what is it? Let's open something. Let's open this website. I like this website, RottenTomatoes.com. It's a movie website. Okay. So again, what is it here? Again, this is just a like a long list. Or table. A list is nothing but a table with a single column. So again, tables. See, again, it's a table of movies. Table of movies. List of movies. List of movies. This entire website is like a table. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. Every app, whatever app you're using, you see WhatsApp chat. Again, it's a list. It's like a table, right? Row, column. That is why whenever you're building something, that is why in my textbook, I only focus on teaching the essentials, only the essentials, the practical essentials. Another example I want to give you is, when you buy this screwdriver set, I have a screwdriver set in my house. I have a spanner set in my house, especially for my computer. Whenever my computer stops working, I do the repair myself. And in a screwdriver set or in a spanner set, you only use 1 or 2 all the time. The remaining 80% you don't use. Okay. Similarly, that is what I do here in these web programming classes. I only teach you the tools that you use, the components that you use constantly. All right. So similarly, table is something which you'll be using all the time anytime when you build an app. We already discussed how to build a list. We already know that. So here we're talking about the next basic component of building your app. That would be a list, that would be a table. So that is what I have here, a simple table. Okay, so that is, I'm telling you this again and again because I'm showing you, see this app again, it's just a table, that's it, it's just a table and list, table and list. Everything is, now go to my own website again. What is this? This is just one long list. It's a table with one column and row. This is one row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, and this again is another row with some text. So now you understand why tables and lists are so important. So which is why knowing them is very, very important. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. And we have here a follower here. Thank you, Gregor Zerman. Thank you so much for following us. I hope you're learning something here. So I'll get back to the class. I'm not able to reply individually right now. So yeah, that is why I put so much emphasis on building a simple table, and I also already discussed how to build a simple list. Okay, so list is already done. That is why we are now looking at table. So before we can build a table, of course I already have a CodePen. Whenever you have a CodePen, you already know the code is already there. HTML is there, CSS is there, JavaScript is there. Everything is already ready. Whenever I teach a class, the code is already ready. So even if you forget this lesson, even if you don't understand anything, even if you don't listen to anything, it's fine. Just go to my textbook. I have a link for the CodePen right here, and the output is there. So our code is ready. But before we jump into building our own table, let's understand what is there already in the table. All right, that is what we'll do now. What are the different components? Now remember, the first few classes I was talking about the different parts of an HTML, like head tag, body tag, tags. So the table tag has some parts, like how the img tag had a source, class, ID, like that. Okay, so all those things we have here. So let us look into the table code and understand all the different parts. Okay, so let's do that here now. Let's do that. Okay, so this is my code here. This is my table code, and I've also put some pointers in the textbook here. So now, as far as I know, as far as I want to use it, the way this output I'm getting, I have 4 things that you need to remember when you're building a table. First, you need to know about the table tag. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, there we go. So first, you need to remember the table tag. Just like how you have image tag, img tag, p tag, hr tag, we have the table tag because we are building a table. Now the tables have 2 things. You can see in the output, we have rows and we have columns. So in the table you have a table row tag, so that will make the table row tag. All right, and you also have a table header. Like, the thing is about tables is, if you want to, you can give your column a title. So right now in this table, now this is like a category or some value that we are trying to make a note of, and this is the title. Okay, so in this example, now I just want to add here, and I've written it in big letters right here. Now this example code was taken from the HTML website of Mozilla. So this is where I'm getting all my information from. Please don't assume that I am writing this textbook completely on my own. Not at all. I am like a copy paste expert, but I like to copy from code which is free and open source, and that is what I do. So this is a free and open source kind of tutorial here. This is actually a tutorial where I also learned years ago, so I'm using it today to build my own textbook. So if you want to learn something, like really know the details, this is the website you want to come. Okay, that link is here already, so you don't have to worry about making a note of it. That link is available on my CodePen. Okay, so here the header is the heading of the column. Okay, so for this column title is Gnocchi, this column title is Floor, this column title is Ella, this column title is Juan. So what is happening in this table is, I think this table is trying to show different dog breeds. That's what this table is showing here. But of course, when we build our own table, we'll put some other information. We'll not try to put this information, okay? So you also have a table header tag, we have a table row tag, and we also have something called table data tag, which shows the actual cell value. Now in our example demo here, so this is the cell, table cell, and the value of that is Jack Russell. So that is the data, that will be a TD. Okay, so you mention the header, you mention the row, and finally you mention the data, and of course you use the table tag. So when you're able to use these tags, you get a nice good looking table, and you can see it on the screen. So these are the four main parts of table. Now please understand that HTML has many tags for every tag, and there are attributes, there are different values, so many things. Okay, I'm not talking about it on purpose, mainly because I don't use them, and second, I just want to teach you the basics. So in the basics, you have the table tag, table row tag, table header tag, and the table data tag. That's it. These are the four things you need to remember when you're building a table in HTML. And why are tables important? Because they are used everywhere. I just showed you. See, this is nothing but a table. This is nothing but a table. It's all, the whole thing is nothing but a table. Our own website, our website baribasic.com, is also like one big table. So everything is a table and list in web app. So if you know how to build lists, you know how to build a table, you're already like a basic developer, and that's what we are trying to do. Okay, so I've shown you the basic components. Now let's dig deep into our CodePen code, understand it, and then we'll try to build it on our own. So let's go to our CodePen. So this is our CodePen, this is our output, this is our CodePen. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. So first, of course, let me, as always, let me open my PowerPoint as well. So tables is what we are trying to discuss. Let me put that in a different color. Okay, so what are the different things we have here? We have the table tag. Where is that? It looks like this. Okay, table tag, perfect. So what is the next tag we have? We have something called as a caption. I'm using it here, so let's make a note of it. As I keep saying, HTML has many extra tags which I may never discuss. All right, so caption tag, and then I have a row tag. Let's see here. We have a question, but I'm just gonna, I think Jaggerman is new. Gregor, I'm not really doing Q&A during the class, man. I'm really sorry. If you have any questions, it's best to join our Discord channel. Let me just put my website address here. 1 second, I'm just typing it in for you. So that is our website, Gregor Zaman. I believe you're new, so please do welcome. I saw you follow as well. Thank you so much for following. The best place to ask questions is we have a Discord server. Just join there and you can ask any number of questions. So yeah, let me get back to it, and thank you for understanding. Yes, so we have the table row tag. You can see it here, and then we have the table data. Now remember, table data shows the actual data, right? So table tag, table row tag, table data tag, and I think there should be a table header. I don't think I'm using it here. Let me just see here. 1 second. 1 second. No, I'm not using the table header. No, in this example code, I'm not using table header. It's fine. It's fine. The good thing about HTML is if you don't like something, if you don't want to use something, you don't have to use it. It won't give any error. It will not say something is wrong, because HTML is very flexible. It's okay. It's totally cool. Okay, that's what HTML is all about. So we are, in this example, we are using the table tag, caption tag, table row tag, and table data tag, table row again, table data, and then it keeps going, and that's it. That's what we're using. So what code is doing what? Okay, you already know TD means data, and I'm just going to check quickly my notes here. Yes, so you all already know What TD is, it shows data. You already know what table row is. It is a row in the table. Now how do we know exactly what is doing where in the output? Alright, so that is what we are going to check now, and this is where I'm going to show you what is called as Firefox Developer Tools. Okay, so that is what I'm going to show today. Now we will spend a lot of time in Firefox Developer Tools, also called as debugging tools, and every day we'll be doing it a little bit. Okay, so today I'm just going to show you how to point out what code is doing what in HTML. So let's go to our output here. Yeah, and here is our preview. Let me close this, close this, close this. Yeah, this is there. Now on the top right corner you have the Firefox 3 menu symbol. Now you take that and then you go to Web Developer and you have an option called Toggle Tools. There we go. And you get something like this. So let me do that again, just to be sure that you caught the steps. So this is your Firefox, and this works with other browsers also, but in our training we are only using Firefox. So click on this menu on the top right corner. You get all these things. You have an option called Web Developer, and you have an option called Toggle Tools. There's a shortcut also. It's up to you if you want to use shortcuts, and that's it. You get so many things. Now the first time you open it, you are going to be a little bit overwhelmed. You'll be like, hey man, what is this? What is this? So many things, so much of things. Okay, so that's okay. Don't worry about it right now. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. It's fine. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to find out which tag is doing what. So to do that, especially if you want to check what HTML code is doing what, you have this thing called as element picker. It's a small arrow on Firefox. I don't know if you can do it. I can't zoom into it, so you'll have to kind of maybe see it later. It's here on the top next to the button called inspector. So you take that and you move your cursor. See how when I move, the code keeps changing. I don't know if you're able to notice it. Don't click, don't click. Okay, this is very important. This is debugging. So don't click the mouse, just move the mouse and it'll show you what code is doing what output. This is a very important step in web programming. You should be able to use the element inspector and find out what tag is doing what. Very important step. Remember, you don't have to click. You shouldn't click, not right now, but you're right now just moving around, so don't click. Let me do that again. Okay, let me close this. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Web Developer, Toggle Tools, and then Inspector, and move the cursor. Don't click, just move the cursor. And as you move, on the right side you will see the code that we wrote. Now see this, you have something called, see the first row, first TD is a white space. There's nothing in it. Okay, now and after that comes something called Noki. So if I go to my code here, see, before this is Noki, the same Noki on the output, and before that I have a white space. So what we have written is showing up in the output. So that is how you know which code is doing what. So as I move, look on the right side. I don't know if I can zoom this. Let me see. Yeah, I can zoom it, but I don't know how. It'll take up a lot of space. Let me try to close this. Yes, I think I have zoomed it to the maximum level, but it won't. Let me see if I can. No, it's gonna be like this only. Okay, all right. So when I move to this, see, TD is showing the data. And now or I can also do one more thing. I can go to the right side and I can move the mouse here. Look at that. As you move through the code, on the left side it will highlight. See, TR, this is the row. First row. TR, second row. TR, third row. Now fourth row. See, It's already selected the fourth row. How do I select the fourth row? I don't think I can select the fourth row directly here, but I can select it here. Scroll down, third row of the, without the header. Finally, the last row is here. There you go. The entire row is selected. Now you know that row is showing that entire row. This TD is showing the value. So this is very important. Okay, this is like this every day. Whenever we learn something new, I'll try to also show Firefox debugging. So you are learning not only coding, you're also learning a little bit about Firefox debugging. But this is important though. As you build complex apps, this becomes very, very important, very, very useful. Okay, so this is how the table is structured, and you know what is doing what. This TR is showing the entire row. This TD is displaying value in a specific cell, and this is the table body. Okay, and this is the entire table, and that is how a table is formed. So now you've seen a table, you've seen an output, you see here the table is ready, we have put some data, and you know about the different parts, the table tag, the what is that, the caption. Where is the caption? Am I using a caption? Yeah, I'm using the caption. Here it is. This is the table caption. It's coming on the bottom left corner there. You can see that there, right? There you go, that is the caption. And we have the table body, table row, TD. So you have learned all the basic terms which are associated with building a table. And before I wrap up the class, I want to emphasize again, in my tutorial I'm only discussing two important HTML concepts. One is how to build a table, and the second one is how to build a web form. Now obviously HTML is much bigger, but I'm only focused on things that are relevant to what I'm trying to teach here. Okay, and one of them is tables. Why are tables important? You saw a lot of apps on the screen earlier, so everything is a table, everything is a list. That is why we are discussing this table stuff. So you saw how a table looks. Okay, I think I said table way too many times today. I'm sorry about that. All right, so now I want to build a new table, but we are already running in on our 15-minute mark. So if I start building the table now, it may take up more than half an hour, maybe even more, I'm not sure. So I am going to wrap it up here. So this is the table. When we in the next session, now today is Wednesday, one second, I think today is Wednesday. Yes, today is Wednesday, so we'll be back Monday, and we'll resume, and we're just like how we are doing in every class. I will go ahead and build this table again in a new CodePen, and then of course run that code locally on Visual Studio Code, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So that is the plan for the next session. So all of you who came for this class, thank you so much for joining in. Those who are coming back from previous classes, thank you very much. Newcomers, yes, we have a YouTube channel, and we also have a Instagram channel. All the details are on our website, baribasic.com. So please follow our Insta, YouTube, and of course join our Discord community if you have detailed questions and you want to chat with me and other students. So thank you so much, and you have a good day.